And when after the first crusade was really pretty much of a disaster, as I described, the second crusade was organized, and the organizers of it, or the advocates of the Second Crusade, said, "Well, we know you're not as eager to get salvation by rescuing the Holy Land anymore because it's a long trek, and you're going to have to borrow the money to." To outfit yourself and bring your assistants all along to carry your armor and do all of this and to spend money on the way. It's going to cost money, but we will forgive. We will give you debt forgiveness for knights who take up the sword or the cross, I guess they called it, not the sword, uh, go and on the crusade, and the creditors will not be able to move against your family or your estate or other relatives as long as you're on the crusade. And so you can get debt forgiveness for this. Well, the a number of many knights signed up for this, but the Christian Church, the clergy, had a special twist on this. There'd been a practice. Long-standing medieval practice. If a knight was supposed to go and serve the king, he could go, but he was able to hire a substitute to fight in his place. Just like in the Civil War in America, if a soldier was drafted, he could pay to hire a substitute to fight in the Civil War. Well, the English and other European knights could hire a substitute, and so the clergy said, "Well, you can negotiate a payment. We don't know whether you're able to hire a substitute, but negotiate a payment, and we will give you the redemption from sin that you would have had for going on the crusade and being redeemed of all sins." And so the selling of indulgences really began as a means of financing the Second Crusade and then on. Well, you can imagine Leo's pleasure in the early 16th century by thinking, well, we don't have a crusade anymore. That all ended in 1291. But what we do have is people still, they're all sinners. They all have the sin inherited from Adam. Oh, by the way, the St. Augustine drove out the Pelasgians from the church. There was a whole fight battle, and Augustine won against the civilized Northerners that said, just live a decent life. And the church said, no, only you can have a life through us, giving your money to us. The poor is the poor churchmen is the clergy were all poor because we're helping the poor. So we are the poor. So in giving money to the poor, giving money to the church, Peter Brown, the biographer of St. Augustine, has described all of this in great detail, and it's a little accepted history by now. Well, the what Leo discovered is, well, we can still sell indulgences, and he wanted to raise money, especially in Germany, because that was the most civilized part of Europe. That was the most progressive part of Europe, and he had sent uh, 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 church leaders there to literally sell indulgences. This was the origin of the Catholic passport to heaven, as it was called when I went to school. And they were sold, and of course, this became such a trivialization, such a secularization of what was supposed to be the most basic element of Christian theology: the sins of Adam inherited by humanity, and you have instead of created by creditors making predatory loans to debtors, it was all of humanity, not just the creditors. The and So they began to sell them, and Martin Luther took the lead in opposing all of this, saying this is just corruption. The church is corrupted. They're selling theology. They're selling redemption. The church is just basically a money making bureaucracy. And this his protests spread out throughout from Switzerland, throughout Germany and the northern countries, and that led, as you know, to the Protestant Reformation, where they all broke away from the church, saying the Roman Church is hopelessly corrupted, and it's all about money. And we're trying to restore the original spirit of Christianity. Well, of course, it's not the original spirit of Christianity, which was debt forgiveness and essentially support of the poor instead of class war. But at any rate, Leo's demand for this money to rebuild St. Peter's, and we're all glad that he rebuilt St. Peter's. It's very beautiful. I remember in college looking at all of Michelangelo's murals, and it's all wonderful, but it was achieved at the cost of corrupting church financial dealing to the point where it split the church between Catholics and Protestants.